The month of March has quietly creeped up on us. It's almost here, and that means a bevy of new PlayStation Plus games, and it is once again time where I suggest PlayStation Plus offerings that I would love to see. Now, the month of February I personally thought was pretty good. We got The Sims 4, we got BioShock the Collection, and we got an additional game in a PlayStation VR title, Firewall Zero Hour. I thought it was good, but a lot of you guys, I was surprised to see, really disagreed with me. Hopefully in the month of March they can offer us a lineup of games that everyone is enamored with, and I think with my suggestion, they are pretty good. I want to have you guys offer your suggestions in the comment section down below, because I do think Sony has a decent idea of what the community wants, and I think it's important to be a little bit vocal, because we have seen that Sony will buck and they'll change things as long as people are vocal about it. I don't want to get into an instance where we get really bad PlayStation Plus months consecutively. Rather, I would rather be vocal right out of the gate. So do leave your comments down below suggesting what games you guys would like to see. So without further ado, I got 5 main games and an additional VR game, so let's get right into it. With the month of March, one of the biggest game releases is Doom Eternal, so I think it would be a perfect time to offer Doom 2016, and this is for a multitude of reasons. First of all, Doom 2016 obviously came out 4 years ago. It's not like Bethesda values this game incredibly highly. We see it go on sale for $5.99 to $9.99 all the time. I believe it's a PlayStation Hits game, so it's not like we're trying to break an arm and a leg for this game. Rather, it's just a game that works with the game that's coming out in March that is rather big in Doom Eternal. Also, this isn't a case where it's not like Doom is this colossal experience that people are going to be invested into for weeks or months on end. No, Doom is a relatively short game. You can probably complete it in 10 to 12 hours, so you can play through that in the beginning of March. You'll probably really enjoy it if you've never played it. The single-player campaign is awesome. It is so exhilarating, and that'll get you excited for Doom Eternal, which not only is it going to have that quality single-player campaign, but we know it's going to have the benefit of an improved multiplayer component as well, and I think people will be super excited for that. I just think it makes all the sense in the world to offer Doom as a freebie. It's a great game, a game that I often go back to and recommend because it was so good. Not a game that a lot of people talk about at this point. I mean, it is 4 years old. The multiplayer didn't have a lot of longevity. That was really the main issue with the 2016 iteration of Doom, but I think all around it was a very good game, and I would love to see it as a PlayStation Plus freebie. Alright, another game that has been getting relatively consistent updates and one of the best received games in recent memory, Stardew Valley, is a game that I think a lot more people need to play. It's had a very successful run on PC. A lot of people played it on PlayStation 4. At this point, if you know about the game and you like these styles of games, you probably already picked it up, but let's open the floodgates for everyone to really try the game out. Now, this is a game that has held up in value. It's not like Doom where it's kind of fallen off. Stardew Valley actually came out in 2016 as well, but you won't see the game go on sale that often, and even if it does, you'll see a slight discount on it. Why is that? That's because this game has held up in value because it warrants its price point. It already came out at $15, so it's not like it was incredibly expensive or anything, but it is a phenomenal game with a ton of content. This is a game that you can be invested into for literally over 80 to 100 hours, probably well over that if you really stay committed to it. And again, it's just that it's been updated consistently, and I think we've come to a point that, again, everybody that wanted the game probably picked it up. However, I think there is a significant amount of people that maybe saw the visuals, maybe saw some other elements of the game, or maybe they got busy with other games. It has been a couple of years since the release of the PlayStation 4 version. I do think it would be a great idea to offer it as a PlayStation Plus freebie. And based on what we've heard, the developer that worked on Stardew Valley also has a couple of other games in development. Probably one of them is going to get announced relatively soon. I would at least assume that. And why not get people more enamored with Stardew Valley? Because if you play Stardew Valley, even if you're a little bit off-put by the visuals initially because of its old-school pixel graphics art style, once you get going, once you start playing it, it's such an engaging game with so much depth to its content. When you see the gameplay, you won't understand that this is a game with so many layers to it, so much depth to it, but then when you actually start playing it, you realize, oh my god, I could do X, I could do Y, I could do Z. There are so many fundamentals to the game, and again, it's been updated so consistently, and if we can get it as a PS Plus freebie for a month, and then they continue to update it, man, that would be such a great offering. It's not like it's the most expensive game in the world either. If Sony could work out a deal, offer some money to the developer and publisher, and it would be a great game as a plus offering, especially as a complimentary title. I don't think Stardew Valley is the kind of game that just because of the aesthetic of the game, I don't think it would be good enough to headline a PlayStation Plus month, even though I think it's up at that quality level. But as a complimentary title, maybe a second to a Doom, it would be a phenomenal freebie, and I think a lot of people would be very appreciative of that. Alright, next up, here's a game that I personally don't really want to see as a plus freebie, but I think sooner rather than later, we're gonna see more and more of these styles of games as plus freebies, and that's a lot of the PlayStation 4 exclusives, and that's why I'm rolling out Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. Look, they gave us the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection. I wasn't a big fan of that, but there were some of you guys that were happy about the Nathan Drake collection being a freebie, and if you were in that boat, you're probably just as happy to see Uncharted 4: A Thief's End if that was a plus freebie. Uncharted 4 is a game that, much like the Uncharted collection, I would assume the majority of ardent PlayStation fans have already played it, and if you haven't, man, you're doing yourself a grave disservice. It is a phenomenal game, and when talking about the best PlayStation 4 exclusives, it's actually surprising to me when people will go towards games like God of War, and rightfully so. I'll even hear Bloodborne talked about more than Uncharted 4, but man, why does Uncharted 4 not get the level of credit that it absolutely deserves? I believe it's right on the level of a God of War, of a Bloodborne, Spider-Man, Horizon. Honestly speaking, Uncharted 4, maybe it's because of my affinity towards the Uncharted franchise, it is my favorite PlayStation 4 exclusive this generation. Maybe Last of Us Part 2 will outpace it, and guess what? That's another Naughty Dog game, and I have a great affinity towards The Last of Us as well. I won't shy away that I do have my attachments towards certain franchise, but Uncharted 4 was on another level from its pacing, visuals, quality multiplayer component as well. Great gameplay. I cannot say enough good things about Uncharted 4, and as a freebie, for the few people that haven't played it, I think it would be a great offering. The issue is, again, I think a lot of people have played the game. This is one that I just see more of a realistic offering than anything, just based on the fact that they did give us Nathan Drake collection, so I think the pieces are already there, and generally speaking, you do sometimes see franchises get repeated, and this is a game they already have in-house. It's a first-party title, so they could just throw it up as a plus subscription, and it's not going to do them any harm, and at this point, are a lot of people picking up Uncharted 4? I mean, they should be if they haven't played it, but it's sold enough copies. I mean, if you look at the sales numbers, they are absolutely astronomical, and who knows, maybe a lot of people traded the game in, they want to re-experience the game, they want to try out the multiplayer. Offering it as a plus game might reignite the multiplayer community as well. I'm not really sure how active that is these days, but it's one that I could see being rather likely as a plus game. Maybe not, if not next month, maybe sometime down the line. Alright, next up, another smaller title that I would love to see as a complimentary game, and the final one of the main PlayStation 4 titles, and that is Enter the Gungeon. This is a game that went a little under the radar as a downloadable game, but it is an awesome game. Enter the Gungeon is a bullet hell dungeon crawler following a band of misfits seeking to shoot, loot, dodge, roll, and table flip their way to personal absolution by reaching the legendary Gungeon's ultimate treasure, the gun that can kill the past. It's a great game, and this is another game that, much like Stardew Valley, was updated relatively regularly. They got more content rolled out into the game, and it was received really, really well. To give you guys an idea, the Steam reception, 38,356 Steam user reviews, 95% positive on that. Recent reviews are overwhelmingly positive as well. 1497 user reviews, 96% positive. Metacritic score not as positive at 84, but that is still a perfectly acceptable score, and a really good score at that, given the fact that these downloadable games, I feel like, are sometimes graded on a little bit of a negative curve, whatever the case may be. Nonetheless, it's a great game. It's a game that I could just pop in and I can have a lot of fun with. At the same time, it is relatively challenging. It is a roguelike experience, so it might irritate you at times, but it's also an incredibly rewarding game. That's the thing about these challenging games, these more challenging games. You have to manage the challenge with the reward and get it to an acceptable level where you can fight through the challenge, but at the same time, every time you do something in the game, it is offered to be relatively rewarding, and I think Enter the Gungeon does a really good job of balancing the two, and that's why it has been received so well. So as a plus game, it's a game a lot of people missed out on PS4, but I think as a complimentary plus game to a Doom, to an Uncharted 4, I think it would be received rather well. Alright, and lastly, given the fact that in February they offered us an additional PlayStation VR game, hey, I would like to see that regularly every month, and if not every month, maybe every other month. Astro Rescue Mission is a home run as a PlayStation VR freebie. It is a great game, one of the best received VR titles. I'm not in the same boat that I think it's the best VR game of all time. However, I do concede that it's an awesome game. It has so much going for it, and if you're a fan of old platformers, it modernizes the elements of a game like Super Mario 64, adding a VR as a layer to the gameplay, and it is just a masterclass in VR development. It is really good. Again, I wasn't as big of a fan as some people, but I think I am honestly a little bit in the minority as far as that goes. Got a 90 on Metacritic and one of the best received VR games of all time, and really VR's library has been expanding rather quickly, and given that they offered us Firewall Zero Hour, it seems like they want to offer us first-party notable VR titles, and again, it's not a huge burden on them. I don't believe they have to sign any crazy publishing deal or anything like that. It's a first-party game. You own the rights to it, so they should be able to roll that out rather easily, and I think Astro Rescue Mission, not only would it be a game that current VR owners would really enjoy, but it could also be a game that as a VR freebie, it could entice somebody to pick up a PlayStation VR on sale or whatever the case may be, because they see games like Firewall Zero Hour being added to their library. They see an Astro Rescue Mission where you're already adding some of the marquee VR titles, and suddenly, man, you're going to be incentivized to buy a PlayStation VR headset. I don't think that's a bad idea at all. Get some games in their library and then give them some reason to buy a VR headset and then get them into that VR ecosystem as well. I think that makes a lot of sense. So that's going to conclude this video. Those are my 5 offerings: Doom, Stardew Valley, Uncharted 4, Thief's End, which I'm a little bit on, but I think a Sony could go that route. Enter the Gungeon and Astro Rescue Mission. Again, I try to be as reasonable as possible. I don't try to go overbearing and asking for games that are relatively new releases, but these games are a little bit older in stature, and I think they would be great plus freebies. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.